What's up guys, welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. This is Living in Jersey. Today, I'm actually in the shopping center of Mendham Borough. I'm gonna be taking you on a drive around tour of Mendham Borough. We'll see obviously what the shops have to offer, what the local neighborhoods are gonna look like for you. And I'll just kind of talk about some experiences I've had just living in the area and also having clients move to the area in the most recent times. So just to remind you, I am a realtor in the state of New Jersey, and I would love to be a real estate choice when making the move to the Garden State. So feel free to call, text, or email me at any time. But yeah, let me buckle up here and let's see what we have going on in Mendham Borough today. So it's actually the beginning of March time frame. I got some people behind me before I back out. It's almost like 60 degrees out today, so it's abnormally warm temperatures. Let me back out here without hitting anyone. What do we do before backup cameras, right? So this is like the main kind of shopping center in Mendham Borough. And Mendham Borough is different from Mendham Township. They operate as two separate towns. Obviously, they're gonna go to the same high school. They have different elementary schools and different middle schools. But just looking right here, there's a liquor store, CVS pharmacy, florist, nail salon, King's grocery store, which if you do the bulk of your grocery shopping there, you're definitely gonna be spending a lot of money. You're gonna eat like a king there. The food's great, produce is amazing, but it is on the more expensive side. So just something to consider. We've got Frank's Pizza. I went there the other night with my kids, and really good Chinese place, which to be honest, I personally haven't been there, but I've just heard rave reviews from my clients, some of the dads at my kids' daycare. Starbucks, we've got a PT place, Orange Theory. The Wicker Basket is a popular deli that's been here for a long time. Wells Fargo for our banking needs. So that pretty much, there's a little bagel shop here too, it's pretty solid. But yeah, we're gonna make our way towards downtown Mendham here. You'll see sidewalks kind of running all up along this. It's Route 24, it's kind of Main Street in Mendham. The high school is gonna be coming up over here on our left. And kids walk to school, there's crossing guards, there's plenty of police officers here. Not that it's like a dangerous area. It's actually like almost comical how many police officers you're gonna see. Turning right down here onto Dean Road, which is gonna take us into a neighborhood that I like to call Borough Park, just because Borough Park is in the neighborhood. But you've got a lot of like colonials that have been built up over time. You're gonna have a mix mosh of kind of home styles. Like we got a ranch right here. Across the street, you've got some like updated colonials that were probably built in the 70s, but as time has gone on, people have done their updates, expanded upon them. But you can see wooded, private, pretty decent sized lots. The shopping center is to my right as we're looking out here. And there's also Patriots Path. So Patriots Path is a big trail system that runs throughout parts of Morris County. There's a trail access point like right over here to my right. And another place I'm not gonna hit today is the Mendham Commons, which is also right beyond this tree line over here that we're driving by right now. You can see modern farmhouse over to my left that someone kind of renovated and made their own. This is just to get you a feel. And I always describe Mendham Borough as like the closest thing to like a beach town without having a beach, because kids are always riding their bikes. Everyone was running on that main drag there. You could walk to pretty much, not everything, but it's a decent walk. But I'm just saying everything's relatively flat, accessible. You know, it's got a kind of more laid back vibe. Versus if you live in Mendham Township, the ability to do that is less and less just because it's significantly more hilly and the terrain just isn't as conducive for that type of kind of just getting around town. Make a left here. You can see that one was significantly built upon. Nice yellow house there, but it's definitely like a mixed bag of home styles that you're gonna get. Another thing that people really like about Mendham Borough versus Mendham Township is the public sewer. So I know a lot of people moving from out of state, when they hear septic, they want nothing to do with it. I personally have a septic at my house in Randolph, but I understand why it's just easier to have a sewer. So in Mendham Borough, you would get that, versus in the township, most likely not as many options with that being the case. You're looking at septic. All right, so now we're driving right towards Borough Park. Actually showed this house over here on the corner with the brick. My clients didn't end up moving forward on it, but if you go straight down this cul-de-sac, it's Mountain View Middle School. So that's where the middle school is for the kids in this neighborhood. Then we've got a couple of ball fields. There's a basketball court, playground tucked there in the back. We should have some friends that live on this street. You can see sidewalks throughout, all relatively flat. So if you want to have that kind of walkability to the coffee shops and local mom and pops that they got around here, get your hair cut, this is kind of the place to go. Borough Park. Now I'm going to make a right here on Mountain Ave. You can see the crosswalks again. There's lots of crosswalks, lots of sidewalks, crossing guards during school hours. All right, that's an extension of Dean that we kind of started on, Mountain View Middle School, which you'll see some B-roll on. Take you down a different section here just to get another feel for it. Just kind of the aesthetic. We got a couple multifamilies here. There's some multifamilies scattered throughout Mendham Borough. I actually just secured a rental property for some good friends of ours that moved back here from Austin, Texas. This past weekend. So whether you're looking to buy or rent, I can help you with any of those options. Now, if the homes that you're seeing here aren't really quite the size that you're looking for, the size significantly increases when you go into Mendham Township, which I'll do a separate video on. So if you are interested in getting more of these drive-by tours, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'll be posting those shortly. All right. I'll do one more little cul-de-sac before I head to the Deerfield neighborhood, which is on my left here. See the Irish flags flying. So this pond over here, they do like a fishing derby here for the kids every year. So there's a lot of community-based events. This hill is a bugger to get up on a bike, which if you watch my videos, you know I like to do. And this is kind of like the edge of Mendham Borough. If you kept going up Mountain Ave, that's when you get into Mendham Township. Which again, like I mentioned, the terrain's just a little hillier, things are more spread out, but the homes do typically tend to be larger. And I mentioned Patriots Path before, so like right behind these houses over here on the right, Patriots Path runs right through their backyard. So again, like if you like hiking and the outdoors, you know, Morris County in general is a great place to be. It kind of gives you a little bit of mix of everything. You're not too far away from the bars, restaurants, nightlife scene in Morristown. Again, like you have all those in Mendham Borough as well, but they're going to close a little earlier. It's just, you know, a little bit more subdued version of a nightlife scene. And really the further west you go in Morris County and in general, there's just kind of less and less of those things, and the prices reflect that. All right. So now we're heading back towards that downtown area, but we're gonna hang a right into the Deerfield neighborhood, which aesthetically looks pretty similar to the Borough Park neighborhood and still offers you that walkability. See the Irish flags out. We've got St. Patrick's Day coming up, and in Morristown there's a really big parade that all the locals like to go to, and I will be there with my kids. Make sure you try to get there early though, because parking can be difficult. Another set of Irish flags. But again, in this neighborhood, you're gonna see a mixed bag of home styles, and really over time, I would expect the aesthetic to change just because There's only so many lots in Mendham. People want to live here. You're going to try to make the house we want it to be. Like, I guarantee you these houses over here on the right didn't always look that way. They just had people build up on them. See some lacrosse backstops. Again, sports are big around here, especially lacrosse in recent years has become very, very popular. You can see the style of home changes significantly, you know, throughout, even on the same street. But I would continue that over time. This is just going to continue to get more built up and built up to more modern looking homes. All right, actually we're going to go this way because they're doing some road work over there. Let's go right left here. Got a bi-level over here. We've seen ranches, colonials, custom homes. They've got it all. All right, so there's another ball field park if we went over to the right. So right at this stop sign right here, if I were to go right, that's going to take you into downtown Chester, where there's a big ShopRite shopping center is there. If you go left, it's going to take you through that downtown Mendham Borough, which is where we're going to go next. And then if you kept going, it's going to take you into downtown Morristown, with all that nightlife. So you're about 10 minutes kind of each direction to get to both of those things. There's a little park over here on the right. It's like a ball fields park. We're now going to enter the historic district of Mendham Borough. And Mendham is a historic town. Right down the road down Tempewick, you got Jockey Hollow Park, where George Washington and his troops stayed the winter. So there's a lot of history around here, but in this historic district, which mostly lines this main street here, and some of the streets that kind of run off of this, the only thing you need to pay attention to is that if you are in a home in the historic district, there is like a historic district society. So if you were to do any kind of alterations to the exterior of your home, it would have to get approval from that society, just because they want to make sure that the aesthetic is kind of being maintained throughout town. It is a cute little charming town. We've got Simple Coffee over here, which is a nice little mom and pop coffee shop. I like to go with the mom and pop ones. We've got Mendham Garden Center, which I actually go to pretty frequently. They've got, good landscaping supplies. You got the Colonial Pantry Deli. It's been there forever. Sapori Italia. I've heard their pizza is really amazing. I got to try them. I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard that's like the go-to spot. Bunch of little mom and pop shops. I'm going to go down here on Hilltop, make a right. Hair salons, lawyers, attorneys, like it's all mom and pop stuff, for the most part around here. There's a cat across the street. Bruh. We just passed the Pastime Club, where there's actually a bowling alley. You can do birthday parties there. This is Hilltop Elementary over here on my left. Nice looking school. My grandfather was actually buried in the cemetery over here. And in the distance, you can see Mendham High School. So now we're getting to like the southern part of Mendham Borough, and the houses are going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit more spread out. Either through the B-roll or through these street drive-throughs, you'll be able to tell what I'm talking about here. It does have a little different feel, maybe not quite as walkable to that downtown, but we're gonna show you the whole gambit here. As you can see, the houses are getting bigger. We're gonna pass one that has like 26 chimneys. It's pretty crazy. Like I mentioned, I like riding my bike a lot. And these are some of my favorite roads to ride on, just because get to look at beautiful homes, rolling hills. Roads are pretty quiet for the most part. Don't have to worry too much about people buzzing up behind you. Since having kids though, my days of the 4-hour plus rides are few and far between. If I could hop on the Peloton for 30 minutes, that's usually a win. Turn here. All right, we're good. Yeah, so this just gives you a little kind of feel for the country roads that Mendham Borough has to offer. This is one of my favorite little spots to drive up with that barn and the hills and the big houses. I'm usually coming down this road though. Someone's got a dirt bike on the back of their truck. Don't see too many of those around here. Gonna have to get outside with the friendly. Give it a little wave. All right, we're gonna head down this little dirt road here. We're gonna make our way over to Talmadge. And the Scenic Builders, you can see they're building something over here. Scenic Builders, like a high-end custom builder in the area that's very well known. Again, this section of Mendham Borough, if you are kind of dead set on not wanting to have a septic, this is where you and I have to have good communication, just so I can look into these things, because it's not always public sewer in this like southern part of Mendham Borough. All right, so now we're heading left on Talmadge, just to kind of keep this video as concise as possible here. I actually had some clients purchase a home on this road about a year ago, and it's kind of a cool house. It was like a barn to one of the other houses in the area, and probably in the 80s, someone converted that barn into a single-family home, and it was really cool, open concept area when you first walk in. Public sewer, walkable to town. Really nice pool with walkout basement. Gonna hang a right down this cul-de-sac just so you can get another feel for a different kind of neighborhood in Mendham Borough. This is where I always kind of feel awkward, like driving around with cameras strapped to my car and, you know, not doing anything weird, but I could see the illusion of having something weird from someone who lives in the neighborhood not wanting, you know, a black truck with tinted out windows and GoPros strapped to their car. All right. Sorry for the delay there. Okay. Back on the Talmadge. We're back by that church and the cemetery where my grandfather is buried. And I actually, when I was a kid, I grew up in Long Valley, which is down the road, but we would play Mendham in football, Twin Borough Bears, they're called. And my dad and I would always come to the cemetery and, you know, stop by my grandfather's grave, but I would play on the field right there. So it was almost like he was watching me. And he was a good football player himself. So it's kind of cool. All right, a little ice cream shop over here on the right. What town? Every town needs an ice cream shop. See if I can beat this red light or yellow light, so I'm just sitting here awkwardly. Okay. I think there's like 3 pizzerias in town. Sorrento's one of them. Frank's was in that mall, and then the other one I mentioned that has rave reviews. I gotta give it a shot. And the Black Horse Tavern we just passed too, that was recently renovated. That's like one of the oldest restaurants, maybe in the state of New Jersey. Lots of history there. Random Audi dealer here. Also a Ford dealer in Mendham Borough. I think we actually just passed Dunkin' Donuts too, which there was a lot of controversy over putting that Dunkin' Donuts in. And if you look at that Dunkin' Donuts, it looks nothing like any Dunkin' Donuts you've ever seen, because they're trying to fit that kind of historic downtown setting. You saw a runner there. We're passing Westmore's Mendham High School, which according to niche.com is an A+ rated high school, according to niche.com. So top rated school. A lot of people who are moving to New Jersey or even this area are coming here specifically sometimes for the schools. So I just recommend you look at niche.com just to kind of do your own due diligence, just because I like to keep my real estate license. And, you know, if I give too much info in that regard, it could be seen as, you know, steering, and we don't want any of that. So We'll let the, okay, they want me to go, we're going. Okay, so next, this is the post office over here on the left. I've been there a few times to drop some stuff off. Next neighborhood we're gonna go into is called Deerfield. And I actually have a friend who lives in Deerfield. One of the main reasons why they wanted to live in Mendham Borough versus like a Chester Township, or even Randolph, is because that there's public utilities. So you got the public sewer in this neighborhood. And again, you're gonna see a wide range of aesthetics in this particular neighborhood. So this tour will give you a little feel for it. And my friend who lives there, she's got 3 boys. All of them are in high school, but they lived here their whole life. And she always talks about how they ride their bikes everywhere. They walk everywhere. All the cops know them in town. Again, like, not because they're getting in trouble, just because that's like how tight-knit of a community this is. And we're driving up here to the back end of the parking lot of West Morris Mendham. And on a Friday night, a lot of times this will get pretty backed up with people parking here going to the football games. But yeah, you can see there's a lot of signs up here though that say like no parking at any time because of the overflow from the sports. See, putting an addition on. See, everyone, a lot of times, all these houses they're over time, they just have more and more people just kind of building up and doing making their house what they want it to be just because they like the area. They just maybe can't find what they're looking for exactly on the market. So they're going to just do it themselves. Especially the way interest rates have been, that's a common thing. But not everyone has that luxury. On a ball field, I believe this neighborhood is called Franklin Farm Estates. But there's no like sign, as you drive in to really explain that, but. All right, now we're gonna go to one more neighborhood, which is actually one of my favorite neighborhoods, just because it has kind of like your Mendham Township size home, but the proximity to Mendham Borough and those public utilities. So we're on Templewick Road right now. If I kept going, you're gonna go to one of the best hiking parks there is, which is Jockey Hollow. And even being a Randolph resident, I find myself driving there often with my dog just to go for a walk. It's a cool spot where you can actually see the New York City skyline. But it's very peaceful back there. And actually, this next neighborhood, half of it's in Mendham Borough, half of it's in Mendham Township. This one's called Drakewick, and the aesthetic is just a little bit more consistent throughout this neighborhood. All right, now we're making our way back towards pretty much where we started. Got like a little industrial complex over here. Not industrial, but there's like little business offices in there. So now at this light, if I were to go right, it would take me to downtown Morristown in about 10 minutes. If I was to go straight, it would take me into Randolph, which is where I live, about, again, 10 minutes. I go left, brings me to downtown Chester in about 10 minutes. There's like the one gas station in town, Ford dealership, which I have a Ford. I got my Ford there, and best service support department there is, hands down. All right. Like I said, the only place I didn't hit in Mendham Borough was the Mendham Commons. You'll see some drone footage to kind of give you a feel for what that's all about. But just townhome community. Obviously, you got a little bit more affordable options there and some amenities. But yeah, that about does it for the tour of Mendham Borough. Again, if you want to eat like a king and probably pay like it, King's it is. Best grapes on the planet, by the way. You will never eat better grapes than you will get at that place. All right, have a great one. And just to remind you, I am a realtor in the state of New Jersey, and I would love to help you with your real estate needs when you're making the move to the Garden State. So feel free to call, text, or email me at any time. And yeah, make sure you subscribe for more content like this.